There's no marriage that's successful without trust. You've got to tell each other the truth. Telling the truth to someone is no simple thing, because there's a bunch of things about all of us that are terrible and weak and reprehensible and shameful and all of those things, and they kind of have to be brought out into the open and dealt with. Once we know the truth, then we're either going to live together in mutual torment, or we're going to try to deal with that truth and straighten ourselves out jointly, and that's going to make us more powerful and more resilient. If you have a partner that you can trust, you can go say, hey, I made a big financial mistake, man, and it's really torturing me, and I feel like a complete idiot, and it's really dangerous, and the person there is going to help you figure out what to do about it. You can't eliminate the necessity of being attracted to one another. That's important, and that's mysterious. One of the things we know that attracts people to one another is bilateral symmetry. Women also tend to not be sexually attracted to the scent of men who have, if I remember correctly, it's Rh factors that would make for potential trouble in childbirth. There's weird, mysterious things that determine whether or not people are sexually and physically attracted to each other, and I think it's very important that that's part of a marital relationship. And there's a couple of things our culture gets really wrong, and one is it devalues marriage. That's really a very bad idea, because marriage is like a third of your life, and maybe more. You look for someone that you're attracted to, that you love, and then you look for someone that you can bloody well trust, and then you tell them the truth. And that way maybe you can get through life, and you can have someone to weave the rope of your being with, and together to make your joint rope stronger. And also, marry someone you think would be a good mother and that has enough sense, generally speaking, to know that she wants children. If she doesn't know that she wants children, or won't admit it, unless she has a viciously important reason, then she's not oriented properly psychologically. She doesn't know what's important in life. I think it's necessary, or at least highly desirable, that you find the person that you're with sexually attractive. And that's somewhat ineffable. I've seen couples get along as friends, try to bridge that romantic gap by will, and I haven't really seen it be successful. So I think you need that spark. Then you have to ask yourself if you can trust the person, if there are activities that you can share with them that would make up a life. If you're oriented in approximately the same direction with regard to your goals, especially important goals, career, and children, and I would say of all those, trust is the most crucial component, maybe followed by the ability to negotiate. The right person is someone you can negotiate with. Can you negotiate through the conflicts? And will the other person stick to their negotiated solution? And then if you find someone like that and they're of approximately the right age and everything else seems to be in order, then there's real reasons to get on with it. If you differ tremendously in trait conscientiousness, one of you is going to find the other unbearably rigid, orderly, and workaholic oriented, and that person is going to find you dissolute and undisciplined. The extrovert will want to be out partying all the time, and the introvert will have had his or her fill of that very rapidly. So you want some temperamental similarity across the major personality dimensions. One of the things you don't want is too much mismatch between you and that person on the 5 fundamental dimensions. So for example, if you're really extroverted and you have a really introverted partner, you're going to engage in continual conflict. If you're an agreeable person and you have a particularly disagreeable partner, you're also going to run into problems, because the agreeable person will say whatever you want whenever, and the disagreeable person will say, well, I'd like to know what the hell you want for a change. Disagreeable person is going to find the agreeable person wishy-washy and unable to stand up for themselves. And again, that's actually one of the primary sources of tension between men and women, because women tend to be higher in agreeableness than men. If you have a group of men and women and you pick out random pairs,
the woman is going to be more agreeable than the man 60% of the time. So that's not an overwhelming proportion, but it's reliable, and it's quite large by psychological standards. If you're a conscientious person and you're living with someone who's really unconscientious, that's good because they might be able to help you relax, but you're not going to be happy with them because they don't work nearly as hard as you do, but even worse on the orderly dimension. And so if you're a really orderly person and you live with a disorderly person, well, good luck getting along with them. They're going to regard you as like uptight and over concerned with details. So another reason why it's useful to understand your personality is because I think it gives you a better crack at finding someone that you can actually live with over the long run. Maybe an agreeable person can use a bit of a disagreeable person around them to balance each other out, and vice versa.
How do I make myself into the perfect date? If I offered everything I could to a partner, who would I be? You work on that. Ask that question. How can I be the best partner possible? I have to be the person that women would want. Okay, what do they want? Clean. That's not a bad start. Productive. Generous. Honest. Willing to delay gratification. So you dance with a woman. It's like, what's she doing? What are you two doing? Then can you do that with her? And then can you do that in a playful and attentive manner? And keep your bloody hands to yourself for at least a minute. And so, can you dance in a playful manner? And then you think, well, how far am I from those things? And the answer is usually, man, it's a pretty horrible abyss separating you from that ideal. Even though the person you're dealing with is full of snakes, if you offer your hand in trust and it's real, you will evoke the best in them. And you tread very lightly when you're dealing with someone like that, especially if they're intoxicated. And even then, your best bet is that alert trust. What's rule 1 in the first book? Stand up straight with your shoulders back. That's a good thing to do. You know, what do women look for? Depends on the wisdom of the woman. Young women are more likely to fall for narcissistic psychopaths. And the reason for that is they can't tell them from competent men. Because narcissistic psychopaths imitate competence. But the women check out the confidence as a marker of ability, and the falsely confident can fool them, especially if they're young and naive. Now, you know, a wallflower guy might benefit from some training in narcissistic psychopathy, you know, just to sort of balance them out a bit. Generally, what women want is something like confident, productive generosity, fundamentally. And so, you know, if that's allied with physical attractiveness and a sense of humor and, you know, the sorts of features that a man would also look for in a woman, so much the better. No one likes young men, so if women don't like you, it's like, well, that's par for the course. Who likes young men? No one. Why? Well, they're basically troublesome and useless, and so that's why. Cross-culturally, women like men who are about 4 years older than them. And the reason for that is, you know, women are more vulnerable on the sexual front, and they have to make themselves even more vulnerable if they have children, especially when the children are infants. But if a woman has a dependent child, then both of them have to be taken care of, especially when the child's an infant.
so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky